Hey everybody, I'm Travis Marshall, and this is another edition of Lunch Punch, brought to you by GrowChristian.com. Yes, Lunch Punch is your spiritual shot of adrenaline to help you begin or maybe even to help you get through your work week. Today I want to talk to you about what to do when bitter people, if you know any bitter people, don't point at anybody next to you, but if you know someone that's bitter and their talk is stressing you out, that's what I want to talk about today. So let's jump into 1 Samuel 30 and 6. And this is we're gonna use 1 Samuel 30 over the course of the next couple of these lunch punches at least. Some really great stuff. I encourage you to read 1 Samuel 30 for yourself on your own time. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into verse 6. And it says this, and David was greatly distressed. He was stressed out. Why? Because the people were speaking. For the people spoke of stoning him. Because all the people were bitter in soul, each for his sons and his daughters. But David strengthened or encouraged himself in the Lord his God. So let's unpack this for a little bit. The setting, I'll let you again read it in full on your own. But suffice it to say, the setting is this, that while David had his back turned, his enemies burned down all he had worked for. I don't know if there's anybody that understands the severity of this. We speak of this in the figurative, but maybe you have dealt with something where you just literally felt like as soon as your back was turned, the enemy just burnt down all that you had worked hard for. So this, again, the next part of it says that David was greatly distressed. Listen, he had a reason to be stressed out. His family had been kidnapped. Not only, and his town had been ransacked. Not only his family, but the family of all his army, his men, they were kidnapped. So think of this happening to you, and think of something at this level happening in your life. Now what we see is his friends and his followers, the closest people around him, the people he's trusted with his very life, are now thinking of betraying him and committing a mutiny against him. Have you ever been into a place, have you ever been in a situation where because of all that's going on and all the confusion, the people closest to you are kind of murmuring, complaining, and you feel like they're going to betray you? Listen, here's the thing. Everybody around them, they had a right in a sense to be bitter. Everyone around them was bitter because of the way that David stood his ground. You may be in a situation where you're doing the right thing. Hear me now. I'm not talking about doing the wrong thing and people turn their backs on you. That's a whole other subject. But I'm talking about when you're doing the right thing and people start turning their backs on you. People start wanting to distance themselves from you. And it's all because you're standing your ground and they're afraid to go with you there. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. That'll be a future lunch punch. But they're afraid to suffer harm. So it gets to all this. Again, it says, and David was greatly distressed, for the people spoke of stoning him, because all the people were bitter in soul, each of his sons and daughters. And then it gets to this part in verse 6. But, when it comes to scripture, I've got to say it. When it comes to scripture, I like big buts, and I cannot lie. All right, come on, that's funny. But David encouraged himself in the Lord. That's what it says. But David encouraged himself in the Lord. It's like a hinge where everything changes in the story. He's stressed out. People are talking about him. People want to stone him, for goodness sakes. People are wanting to betray him. But he encouraged himself in the Lord. Sometimes, this is what I want to encourage you with as we close. Sometimes no one will be around to strengthen you, to encourage you. It's no excuse. It's no excuse. Do it yourself. It says this, David strengthened, he encouraged himself in the Lord. So you may be stressed out, but everyone else around you may be bitter, but people may be talking about the stand you're taking, but my help, you need to say this as David did, my help comes from the Lord. So I want to encourage you with that today. We'll see you back later this week for verse 8. Again, I encourage you to read 1 Samuel 30 for yourself. Again, thank you all so much, and you can show your love by liking, sharing, and commenting on this video and on our Grilled Christian Facebook fan page. If you want to see the rest of these, we have archives of Lunch Punch that are on our YouTube playlist on my YouTube channel. That you'll see the link at the end of this video. So go ahead, let's get ready. It's the beginning of the week. Crush it for the King and whatever He's blessed you to do. And as we sign out, this has been Lunch Punch, brought to you by GrowChristian.com, where we want to help you do 3 things: know, lead, and defend your worldview and your faith. God bless.